everybody. Welcome to a Thursday edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder. And as you guys know, this is the show where comedy meets sports. Let me introduce you to the comedians who've been in the game. And they've been in, oh my God, comedy films, comedy film festivals, comedy commercials. And now they're in this comedy show, what we call Comedy Sports Show. Up first, we have the comedian known as Fig. He's been in the game for a very long time. We got a comedian also known as Rodney Perry, who's been in the game for a long time. Rodney Perry. And we got a comedian known as Talent, who's been in the game for a very long time. Gentlemen, how you doing today? Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. Let's get ready to jump this thing off. I always start off first with the COVID report. And I'm going to start out with Talent. Look like he on the road and everything, but I'm going to start out with him first to say, Talent, you guys know how we always get down with this COVID report. Up first, I found out this morning that the Philadelphia Phillies catcher, JT Realmuto, he got placed on the COVID-related reserve because looks like he caught COVID 2 days ago. And there is a COVID case for the Washington football team when all their rookies and stuff reported last week. You know how they had rookies training camp and like that. So a couple of rookies and a couple of draft picks for the Washington football team got picked up and put in by COVID. Talent, your thoughts on that? Talent, can't hear you, bro.
Let me get my mic right. Give me a sec. I had to plug the mic in. Let me tell you something, bro. The COVID report has become the #1 report in the damn nation, bro. I'm flabbergasted by this as usual because what are we going to do? You know, what are we going to do? I mean, at this point, I'm used to it, Frank. I want to say the same thing every time. Oh, my God, it's appalling. We got to do better, get better. But I'll be honest with you right now. Your COVID report is about to get flooded because of this thing called herd immunity. You know, I'm sure people heard of it. If you haven't heard of it, because they have a certain amount of people that took the vaccine, they care less about who's actually contracting COVID as they used to. They used to worry about it because you know how detrimental it was. But now with herd immunity and people taking the vaccine, they care a lot less. So look for these things to pop up even more every time we do the show.
Okay. Fig, what's your thoughts?
It's not surprising because people let their guard down and they just started to do things that is not recommended by the CDC, man. Even to this day, the CDC will tell you to continue to wear your mask and social distance and only be in small groups of people without your mask, even if you've been vaccinated. And people are just not adhering. They're not paying attention. And I get it. It's probably because people just don't want to. I mean, putting a mask on all the time is annoying. You know what I mean? And people are just not used to it and they don't want to do it. So I expect this to continue and to increase, just like Talent said.
Rodney Perry, your thoughts?
Well, I don't know if I agree with you guys on that, man. I mean, to be honest, the thing about this COVID is that a lot of these guys are getting old COVID. So they got their masks in the backseat of your car, on the floor of your car, and you got COVID 3 weeks ago, but you didn't know it was sitting in that mask. And now you put the mask on and you didn't mess around and got COVID, old COVID. So I think this is old COVID, and old COVID is worse than new COVID.
Right, and that's coming from a person who had COVID, and you were in the hospital because of that. So I'm sure you definitely know, speaking from experience. I had COVID too. It didn't take me to the hospital. I didn't get my shots yet, but I can say this. I think people are looking at it one way if they have it versus one way if they haven't caught it. You know what I mean? I think that's the biggest issue right now. All right, let's jump into the next topic, man. The next topic is found out this morning that, and I'm starting with you, Talent. I found out this morning that 2 firefighters are going to lose their job for the photos they took at the Kobe Bryant scene, and another one looks like they're going to be suspended for the photos they did. Now, the Los Angeles County has not yet said anything about the sheriffs who's the first on case, but right now, the city of Los Angeles is making moves on photos that were taken at the Kobe Bryant crash. What's your thoughts on this, Talent?
Well, I thought we would hear about the sheriffs first, to be honest with you. But again, it's unprofessional. It's disrespectful. It's, you know, the morale level of this is at the bottom of the pile. There is no right in this thing. So the fact that they're taking steps to reprimand them, I'm all for it, bro. I just thought the sheriff thing would have hit first. I thought they would have got reprimanded before we heard this piece of news.
All right, Fig, your thoughts?
To me, what it just, what Talent said, to me, it just screams that there's more accountability with the fire department than it is with the police department. It seems as though, to me, the police department can continue, no matter what happens, to always seem to rise above the law, as you know, the rest of us don't get an opportunity to do so. So if you wear a badge and a police uniform, I guess the law really doesn't apply to you.
Right. Rodney Perry, your thoughts?
So how do I feel? I mean, man, I'm not mad with them taking the pictures. I'm mad at them selling the pictures, and that thing to try to benefit from that, from a tragedy like that, is unspeakable, and they should be flogged publicly.
Flogged publicly? Okay, that's a new one. Flogged publicly.
I
Okay.
agree.
All right. Let's move on. Let me just say this. The next thing that I'm about to talk about is kind of interesting because I brought up this subject yesterday. Literally yesterday, I said we were talking about Deshaun Watson yesterday, and this morning I found out that the two lawyers for both the city and the lawyers for the city of Houston and Deshaun Watson, the defense attorney, they had a conversation, and it turns out that the 22 women, Talent, are not willing to settle on this case. They feel that they have a strong enough case to move forward with this Deshaun Watson case. Now, interesting point. Literally, the season's getting ready to start. Training camp, everything is ready to start. So I think somebody approached somebody and said, "Hey, would you guys be willing to settle this case?" It turns out the women are not. So it looks like we could be looking at Deshaun Watson possibly missing several games. Thoughts on this, Talent?
Well, several games would be an upbeat look at it. Like Rodney said yesterday or the day before, it may be the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
So those are your two extremes. And a positive spin for him, he missed a game or two or three. And a negative, worst case scenario, he missed a whole season. I don't know how I feel about it, man. To be honest with you, I'm so mad at these things coming up and ruining these young men's lives, and putting these big dampers on their careers, if not ending them, before they're actually getting to a peak and sustain their legacy, whatever that's supposed to be. But yeah, I think that if they're not willing to settle, usually the first time you hear about that, Frank, that just means the number's not high enough yet.
Mm-hmm.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. I think you could be right about that one. Fig, your thoughts?
I agree. See, here's what happened. If it's been 2 or 3 women, the number would have been fine. But now that it's 22, that number got to be higher because they can get together. Some women, this happened to me and I should get more. And I need more. No, he ain't getting away with this. I want my. It just is what it is, man. Hey, listen. The running theme here is I want money, and I want as much as I can possibly get. Period.
Okay, Rodney Perry, your thoughts?
I think we're seeing this is not about those women. This is about a billionaire, a millionaire owner that came out against Deshaun Watson, and the league is trying to intervene, and the league is going, "Hey, let this dude alone. Let's get back to work. Let's play some football." And he's like, "Look, I'll shut this down, but he's got to sit out a year." And that seems to be what's playing out in front of us, man. This guy, the same guy that let go the receiver, the same guy that is making all these decisions behind the scenes for the Houston team, is apparently pretty stubborn, and he's not going to just let this guy walk away without paying something. And if he has to besmirch the man's name publicly, he's already done that. So those women are merely pawns in a bigger game, I think.
Pretty interesting though. Would you guys say that it all of a sudden we hear about a settlement coming literally like the same week of the mini camp? Like, isn't that kind of interesting? I mean, everything seems to be playing out when there seems to be some type of integral move that has to be made by the team, such as finding the quarterback, finding the wide receiver, making moves like the draft. All of a sudden, we heard all this stuff jump off literally, about around the time with the draft. Now we're hearing stuff about that when minicamp is coming up. I'm thinking that the team is somewhere around behind the scenes. I'm thinking the ownership has something to do with it, even though it's not proven. That's just what I think. Maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist. I mean, am I off? Anybody think I'm off?
No. I mean, that's precisely what I just said. But this is like a real Pelican brief. This is like a plausible thing of why this whole thing is happening. And how about this? One of us might get killed over it.
Ooh, you watch too much movies, Rodney Perry.
Hey, no, I mean you hit it. You said this, man, and you asked about this just 24 hours ago, Frank. And you was like, "Yo, it's kind of quiet. What's going on? We haven't heard anything." And then boom, they watched the show and said, "Give Frank some answers."
You want some
Yeah, man, it's crazy, man, because when we talked about it in the beginning, I said I don't believe in coincidences. This thing is it's just too many coincidences with the attorney bringing the case, being the next door neighbor, the owner. One woman comes forward, then another one, then it's 5, then it's 10, now it's all the way up to 22. I mean, just like then one wants money, no criminal charges. It's just too coincidental, man. If you pay attention to anything about how America treats black men when they want to teach them a lesson, this is the same old playbook. Been there, done that. I've seen this before.
All right, let's keep it moving. Next thing up, I found out that this morning, again, found a lot of news this morning, found out this morning that the NBA is creating a new social justice award named after Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. We all know played for the Milwaukee Bucks, most famously played for the Los Angeles Lakers. And NBA is going to present $100,000 to a player in an organization, whoever the player, if they name a certain player, that player gets to name the organization, $100,000 is going to be donated to. I'm going to start with you, Talent, and say, the NBA is always ahead of the rest of the leagues when it comes to social justice and social justice reform. When you hear about this and then putting Kareem in front of it, because we all know he's a serious activist. What's your thoughts when you hear about this, Kareem?
I think it's beautiful. I love it. I'm loving to hear this news. And the NBA is always up front. But I mean, there's reasons for that. The NBA got way more thugs playing for them than any other league. You better do something about these streets. Or these streets going to do something about y'all. So they're always going to be up front handling their business. Oh, I love this. So all jokes aside, Kareem has done so much, when it comes to community. And the thing about Kareem is he came into the league like that. Mm-hmm. He came in the league giving a damn. And here we are, been out the league decades and still on top of the game. Kudos to Kareem and kudos to the league with this award.
I love it. I love it. Love it. Great, good thoughts.
It's kind of funny and kind of ironic that that Kareem would be the name attached to this kind of award because although the NBA has made great leaps and bounds towards being a positive image in the eyes of Black America, years ago it wasn't always like that, and Kareem was one that was on the outside in the very beginning because he was also one of those dudes that were stood with Muhammad Ali when he decided that he was not going to go to war and just object to being drafted. So now we come full circle to where Kareem is being celebrated for his activism, and it's about time. And it goes to show that even though you make some unpopular decisions for social justice, it shows that he was on the right side from the very beginning. And it's, kudos to Kareem.
Rodney Perry, what's your thoughts on this?
I mean, I was looking up this as you guys were talking, man, and it looks like Kareem is really happy about this award, and that we can look forward to him actually handing out the award, and it looks like he's going to be skyhooking the award to his to the people.
Rodney's got a tan. I mean, he's very. He's
Rodney,
very
we can't see
dark
you
right now.
Rodney, we can't see you, Rodney.
Oh, hold on.
There you go. Oh, he back.
Frank is texting me while I'm talking.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
All right, y'all. You know what? We're gonna start talking about the NFL because we got some things we want to bring up in the NFL. And the NFL dropped their schedule yesterday. And before we jump into what the NFL schedule means to everybody, and before we talk about some of the players who were drafted and everything else, let's get ready to bring in Mr. George Foster. He was an offensive tackle. He's now a current scout. He played for the Detroit Lions and the Cleveland Browns. Mr. George Foster, brother, thank you for joining the show, brother. We appreciate you taking the time.
What's happening, y'all? How y'all doing?
Thank
What's
you,
up, Big G?
Y'all can hear me? Y'all can hear me and everything?
Everything's good. Everything's good. George, I gotta ask you.
Just to clear a few things up because I always like to be proper.
Yes, sir.
I'm not a current scout right now. I did.
Okay.
And my first time I was drafted by the Broncos. And then played the next longest part of my career in Detroit. I had a cup of coffee in Cleveland, and then thought I was done, and then came back for a little while with the Colts, Andrew Luck's rookie year. So.
Oh, wow.
Then I went in the scout.
Brother, you better clear your Wikipedia page, bro. That's all I'm gonna say. I'll leave it at that. Clear your Wikipedia page.
I was a Cub Scout, by the way.
Yeah.
Let's get ready to jump in, bitch. I want to ask you a couple of questions, man, because the NFL released the schedule, and everybody was talking about, and I'm sure you, just like you, since you have some scouts in you did this some scouting. Bro, were you impressed with the way the draft folded out, basically came out this past year? Were you impressed with who, what, where, or who didn't impress you? Like, were you impressed with Trey Lance landed and so on and so forth? Check this out, for example.
I think he's a good fit. Just from what I know about his skill set, he's a good fit for that offense. And Kyle Shanahan. I played for his dad in Denver, so having someone mobile with a strong arm, he seems to fit what they need in that offense. So I would have been surprised at Mac Jones, but that should tell people right away that all kind of smoke screens come out during the pre-draft process. And so nobody knows what's going to happen until that day.
Ain't that the truth? Lord, ain't that the truth? Talon, you got a question for him, brother?
Oh, absolutely. Hey, brother, first of all, welcome to the show. Thanks for being a part of it. Another scout question, bro, because I'm curious to the details, because I know you guys got to do a lot of research, not just show up for training, camps and physical tryouts, but the due diligence you put in, to follow players individually. Like, how deep does that go? Like, how much extra work that people don't see you got to do?
It goes deeper than what you might think. I guess depending on the player, if you're really thinking about investing, especially a high pick in a player, you might go back to the neighborhood, see what the lunch lady had to say about them.
Wow.
You know what I mean? The people that you don't think.
Wow.
Because those are the people that know the real you. The people that, the janitor, the lunch lady, your third grade teacher, your sixth grade teacher, the people that know your family, the people in the neighborhood that, and the people that they want to see how you treated the people that, maybe can't do nothing for you. You know what I mean? And so they got to get it because we have the film. The film is out there. We already know what you can do on the field, but we need to know what type of person you are.
That's very interesting.
Right.
Yeah. Man, there's some stories out there, man. You send the people into these neighborhoods to get the intel, and they show up and who is this fool around here? What you doing around here?
Right. Big, what you got? I know you got a question for him.
Yeah, but you know, I asked this question before from another former player. It always amazes me when a high draft pick comes from one of the schools that you don't particularly consider one of the high draft schools, like the Alabamas, the Clemsons, Georgia, whatever, like one of the big name schools, and then they get a high draft pick. And I was wondering, even though the player may look good coming from a small school, doesn't the level of competition that they go against matter? And how do they get picked as opposed to somebody from a bigger school or a bigger conference?
Okay, you're right. It does matter. But one thing I tell people is that if you can play, the evaluation process is so extensive now that if you can play, they'll find you. You know what I mean? If you can play, they'll find you. And so when it comes to smaller schools, and you see a guy with that's dominating at his level, and it could be because of a couple of things. A lot of people develop late. You know what I mean? You know, you got what people have that you call late bloomers, and some people are like that. Maybe at 17, maybe just say maybe you're a young senior. Maybe you turn 17 your senior year. Some people maybe even 16 nowadays. You know, you're nowhere near what you're gonna be at 21. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like you got a guy that you know that was a senior in high school at 17, and you know all of a sudden he's blossomed to this killer on the field at 21. You know what I mean? That's a big difference. So yeah, maybe he had to end up going to just like a back in the day Hofstra or something like that.
Right.
You know, but you know his skill set and his athletic ability blossomed and developed to that of a Power 5 talent, but he's still at his school and he's dominating. So that's when things like the postseason All-Star games come into play, like the Senior Bowl, the East-West Shrine Bowl. I think they have the Polynesian Bowl. They have all these bowl games after the senior seasons where you can take these guys from whatever setting it is. You know, it could be D2, it could be D1, it could be D3, and you get an invite to these bowls. Because I think there was a Division III guy get picked in maybe like the second, third round this year, and Quinn Miners from I forgot the name of his school, but an offensive guard, and people saw what he was doing. He was dominating, and you got Ali Marpet for the reigning champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers that went to Hobart, I think. And I remember talking to him. When I was still scouting. I remember, you know, interviewing him. And when he was coming out, he was from, because nobody ever heard him in Hobart. but you saw him on tape dominating, and he said, okay, let's see what he can do against the big boys. So you invite him to the Senior Bowl, and that's when they get to show out. Okay, they can hold their own versus these big Power 5 guys. And so then you decide, okay, do we want to spend a draft pick on him? How much do we want to spend on him?
Right. Rodney Curry, you got a question for him?
Actually, I got two for George, man. George, you know, you and I have talked, man, and you talked about at one point there was a shortage of big men. I mean, we're always talking about offensive and defensive linemen. Are they making them like that anymore? And secondly, looking at the Deshaun Watson story, are we way off base thinking Deshaun Watson is being targeted?
Okay, that's kind of a loaded question.
Yeah, he cheated. George, he cheated. He know he's supposed to ask the second question. We come back around. He cheated. But go ahead.
First, about the big men. I think we probably start talking about this. I think if I'm gonna assume me and you probably talked about this years ago when I maybe thought I was done, and so I went to the Senior Bowl to really just really the network to see what the next thing was. And like a couple of coaches down there that I knew was like, you done? Like, He was like, I don't think you're done. I was like, well, ain't nobody calling. And it was like, man, it's just not that many big athletic guys around. Like, there's not enough linemen around, and I'm pretty sure you'll get a call. And I'd be damned if I was about to get in the shower one day and my agent called me and was like, hey, what kind of shape you in? I was like, I'm all right. I just started working back out. And I was just starting to work back out just for health reasons. And he's like, well, the coach called you. They want to work you out. And so I said, okay, bet. So I went and worked out, and they ended up signing me because it's just not that many. I explain it like this to people. Next time you're in a grocery store, walk around. If you know me, and Rodney know me, and the rest of you guys don't, I would tell Rodney, next time you're in a grocery store, look around. Do you see anybody as big as George Foster? You know what I mean? Odds are the answer is going to be no. Then you got to ask yourself, if you do see one, is he athletic? Is he strong? Do we have with the neck up? You know what I mean? You got to get all that into one big 6'4", 300-pound package. And those type of people just don't walk the earth like that much.
Mhm.
Wow.
As far as Deshaun Watson, I don't know. It's tough because here's why it's tough to me, because the timing with him wanting out of Houston was like the coincidence was crazy. But then you got the he was doing some weirdo stuff though. Like, don't nobody get that many different massage therapists. Like he's like the king of massage. Like, really, bro? Like, dog, my man was getting bad massages. How they're like 30 in this case. You know what I mean? Like, dude, if you got you can't pick them if you got over 3 massage therapists, bro. Like, I remember all the great ones. Cause that's your body. That's how you make your money. You know what I mean? I remember, like, that's talent. Don't. like this, like, on the for real note. We ain't talking about no happy ending. No, I'm talking about some real deal massage therapists. I remember who I liked and and you gonna get this money like every week. You know what I mean? So you ain't jumping around from therapist to therapist and telling them to touch you here and put did y'all read some of that stuff?
So wait a minute, George, you said
Did y'all read some of that stuff?
Yes, I read it all about it.
Hey, my man was wilding.
That's if it's true, George. That's if it's true. I'll be honest.
George is saying ain't no way he should have more than 10 massages.
We don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. Because everybody keeps saying the same thing that you just said. Everybody we've asked is when you're a professional athlete and you have a masseuse that you like, you stick with him. Like, that's what
you stick with him. You stick with him. Like,
yeah,
you stick with him. But he's not denying that he reached out for all these massages, though. That's not his denial. He's denying that he did anything wrong.
Hey, George,
why you got 30 legit massage therapists, bro?
But what I heard, George, is all 30 of them were auditioning to be the masseuse.
It was a cow call.
It was a stroke of luck that they got called.
Hey, man. Hey, so I don't know, man. And I'm gonna tell you what I've learned and what really brought this notion home that we do not know these people. And I hate that it's like that, because I would think, people that know me, like, say I probably known Rodney maybe, I'm gonna just call it 15 years. Like, I would think that he know me, and I like to think that I know Rodney. Like, it would really blow my mind if it came out that tomorrow Rodney was a serial molester or rapist.
Not me.
Blow my mind.
Wouldn't blow my
What
mind.
happened to me was I had spent time with. Say what now?
Nothing. Keep going.
No, so you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? We don't know these people. So what really brought it home to me that we didn't know these people was the Darren Sharper situation. I know
Yeah.
Darren. I hung out with Darren. I seen women throw the whole kitchen at Darren. You know what I'm saying? That's a handsome brother, all pro football player, successful upon, beyond successful. And he was really out here taking it, drugging women and taking it. And he had some of these people who wives now in the entertainment industry, they was with Darren. You know what I mean? And so he had his pick, he had his choice, and yet he still had some weird stuff going on with him where he wanted to do that thing to these women, and it was true. It was all true. And he come from good stock. I done played golf with his dad, at Super Bowl, his brother Jamie. Jamie hit me a couple weeks ago. Great dude. You know what I mean? But it turned out he was a serial rapist and drugging women and raping them. And I thought I knew him. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this because nobody said it. There was a point in this show today where Rodney Cameron was black.
Yeah.
We don't know what the hell Rodney was doing over there.
Yeah.
You can hear him still talking, but the screen went black. And I don't know about you, but I've put on enough lotion in my life to know that squishy sound. So this is supposed to be a sports show. That's all I'm saying. I ain't saying that. I got one more question. One more question before I spin around the room. And in hindsight, you played for several different teams, George. In hindsight, can you tell me, looking back, what was your best situation and what was your worst situation team-wise?
I honestly, when it comes to sports, for me, the bottom line is winning. And I won the most games as a Denver Bronco. We had some really good teams, and I met lifelong friends. I got it. There's a group of guys from that team. We'll probably go deep sea fishing next month. Love those guys. I trust them with my kids. My kids could go over there, hang at their house, and I trust them. They could have a key to my house. I don't.
That's awesome.
So I could say probably the Denver Broncos. But I played in Detroit, and I love Detroit. I live in Atlanta. I love black people, man. What I mean? So I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed myself in Detroit. What I mean? We didn't win a lot of games. You know what I'm saying? We stunk my last year. You know what I'm saying? But I enjoyed being in Detroit. You know what I mean? Had a brief stint in New Orleans too. I enjoyed it down there. It was a privilege, man. I was blessed to be able to play pro football, man. You know what I mean? I don't take it for granted. I enjoyed myself, and I enjoyed. There were ups and downs in it, but at the end of the day, I can say I enjoyed it. For the most part.
I love that. I enjoy talking to you. I love it. I love it.
I love it too. I love it too. Big, you got a question for him?
Yeah, man. I mean, the crazy thing is what you say, that you think you know somebody and then something happens and it's like you don't know them. But to be 100% honest, man, if I'm a young dude and I got millions of dollars and I'm single, it wouldn't be beyond me, man, to entertain several different women. I don't think that's a bad thing. You know what I mean? The fact
no. Well, go entertain several different women. Why 30 massage therapists? You know what I mean? You got. Come on, man. Andy from Gainesville. He from right above Atlanta. I know. Maybe Rodney have a different opinion. Maybe all y'all do. I done been all around. Atlanta's still undefeated. He can come back to Atlanta and get what he wants. So I don't get it. You know what I mean? And then,
Right.
and put it like that. And don't get me wrong, I hope that brother is innocent. I've been
Yeah.
rooting for him. I've been wanting him to. He wanted out, and they didn't want to get him no weapons and all that stuff. I wanted him to be free. I want him to be free to do whatever you want to, because
Right.
like now is the time where athletes are finally, I guess realizing their power, and
Right.
Yes.
they're leveraging their power. And
Rodney,
I
you got a
didn't
last-
mind seeing that. I didn't mind seeing that happen. You know what I
Rodney,
mean?
you got a last question.
I don't believe in playing devil's advocate. The devil don't need nobody on his side.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But what I'm
Those
just
are-
saying, the facts of things look kind of just
Shady.
look weird, man, and I hate that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But you just gotta know that you don't want to believe it, but there are weird people out here. Some of the people that we like are weirdos.
Well, George, you gave me a whole new perspective on this thing, because I felt there was some big conspiracy, and you like, dude,
It looked like it at
guys-
first. It definitely looked like it at first.
right?
But then the numbers start piling up, and then the interviews and you know what I mean. The only part that I'm kind of weirded out about is that it's not unless I haven't kept up with it recently, is that there's no criminal element to it.
Right.
It's always a civil,
Which is weird. Yeah.
deal, and I don't. Yeah, and I didn't understand. I still don't understand that part. Maybe someone in the legal, profession can explain that to me. Why is it just a civil deal now? But I don't know.
Wow. Hey, man, George, man.
So
You know,
we can
I've
see
had the
about that. I don't
pleasure.
know. Maybe.
Hey, man. Hey, I've had the pleasure of talking to you, man, over the years, man. What do you miss about the game, bro?
Just the locker room, just the fellas, and I'm lucky enough to have retained and kept the guys that I enjoyed, the most from my experience. You know what I mean? Which would be, a lot of the Denver guys. Like those are my brothers, and like I said, we're probably gonna hang out next month in Florida, go deep sea fishing. The same guys that 18 years ago was my partners.
Wow.
You know
Now,
what I
did
mean?
you play with Tebow?
No. Tebow, I was done when Tebow got in the league. You know what I mean? My
What's your
partners
take
are
on
like,
him getting another shot?
huh?
What's your take on him getting another shot? Is it race?
He need to go sit down. That's what he need to go do. He need to go sit down. Now, if I'm Tebow, am I, if I'm trying to look at it in an empathetic way, we don't quite know when to hang it up, especially if you feel like you still got it physically. Like I didn't miss playing football. The only time I missed football is when I knew I could still play.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not most of us don't get to. Most football players, unless you're just an astronomical athlete, most guys don't get to pick when they're done. You know what I mean? Most guys get told, "Hey, you done." You know what I mean? You're not. Nobody calling, and this. Like very few people get to say, "You know what? I'm about to hang it up." You know what I mean? And still got people wanting them to play. It's usually not that. It's usually the other way around. You usually get, nobody's calling you. Man, I know I can still play. I'm better than him. And you know what I mean? I'm better than this guy. This guy just got picked up. I'm better than him. So maybe Tebow. But the thing, I think I've heard people say that Tebow just enjoys the fame, the limelight, the attention, and I believe in that too. I just think he does. You know what I mean? I believe that's part of it. You know what I mean? Because he could, he can go be successful at something else, but ain't nothing like being in front of that camera.
Right.
But
You
his,
know what I mean? And he probably still.
Tebow got 24 masseuses, massage therapists too. Ain't nobody talking about that shit. They call it the Tebow girls.
This boy right there, foolish. You've been foolish for a long time. He been foolish.
So George, can you tell us what you got going on, man, before we get ready to roll it? We got to continue on with the show. You tell us what you got going on and what's going on.
I ain't got much of nothing going on. You know what I mean? You know, I'm down here in Florida right now. My kids got a cheer competition, so I'm gonna be a cheer dad and probably hang out. You know, like actually a couple of them partners that I was telling you about live down the street in Tampa, and so might catch up, hang out. You know what I mean? Got another partner that's down here doing the same thing I'm doing. He from up top. You know, he like, yo, the Yankees playing, bro. You know, it's the Yankees down here, son. God.
Hey, George, I'm down there every month, man. We got to hook up. I do comedy down there every month.
I'm in Atlanta. I live up in Atlanta.
Hey, when you go down to Tampa, let me know. I'm trying to get Rodney down there now. You say you ain't got nothing much going on.
George,
you said that last time you took a shower. Wait till you take that shower and get that phone call.
Yeah,
George,
George, tell everybody out there how they can follow you, bro.
George Foster 72 on everything.
George, thank you for taking the time out.
I don't remember what Facebook is, but I don't check it no way. So
don't worry about it.
I have no idea. But Twitter and Instagram is George Foster 72.
George, thank you for taking out the time, brother. We appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
No problem, man.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
All right, y'all. Everybody, that is Mr. George Foster, who, of course, played offensive tackle in the league. He was a scout in the league. He played for Detroit. He played for Cleveland, and he got to fix his Wikipedia page. Rodney Perry, just let you tell him that when you get a chance to talk to him about that. Yeah, fix the Wikipedia page. All right, let's continue on, man. We were talking about the NBA, the NFL all that time. We only got a few more minutes to talk about the NBA, and I definitely want to talk about a couple of things. Like, first of all, James Harden returned for the Nets last night. He played phenomenal talent. He played phenomenal. People in New Jersey and actually in Brooklyn, they're getting all excited. They think that might be the second coming. After you saw his play last night and everything else, man, what's your thoughts about Brooklyn now with James Harden returning? Talent.
My thoughts is that James Harden is a dirty player. He tried to trip somebody. I seen it.
What are you talking about?
He put his foot out there, tried to trip somebody. I seen it. Check Twitter replays. But no, I think it's good for Brooklyn. We know they need it. They need their players to come back off that injury and not just come back, but make a big difference. We talked about would he be a bigger impactful player as opposed to comparing him to LeBron coming back. And we said that we thought he would. And he looks good, and he should. If he's on target, he will be a bigger impact to that team because they have yet to have all three cylinders on high-powered, operations right now. So he's back.
Fig, get that.
Bottom line, straight and to the point. If KD, Kyrie, and James Harden are 100% healthy, they will win the NBA championship this year. James Harden is a savant, all-around player. He could pass the ball. He could take it to the hole. He could shoot it from the outside. If he plays all 72 games, there's no reason why James Harden, if he decided to, could win the NBA scoring title. Just three special players on the same team. They're going to be very difficult to beat. If they're healthy, I got them winning the whole thing.
Rodney Perry.
James Harden. Okay, let me preface what I'm about to say. I like James Harden. And the if that says if James Harden, if Kyrie, and if KD get together, they're going to be great. It's a huge if because they haven't got together.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't. And if they get together, finally, will they even be able to play together? We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
There is no footage of them. We don't even know if they're friends.
You're reaching, Rodney. You're reaching.
We don't know.
You're reaching.
We don't have a clue. We don't know if these guys even like each other.
Your LeBron fandom is coming out, and you
want the next thing.
No. This don't have nothing to do with LeBron. This is James Harden. The question about James Harden. James Harden's a great player, but he was great in Houston.
Right.
He was great. He was great, and he went his ass straight home, being great.
Let me ask Talent the next question. Let's move on to. I want at least get these couple more questions in because the time is moving in. The Lakers last night they unveiled their 2020 championship banner, and they weren't too happy about playing in the play-in tournament. But I think that they might be able to get their mojo if they have to, if they get pressure put on them right now. And so, Talent, my question is to you: do you think the Lakers are going to find their mojo going straight into the playoffs because of the play-in tournament? What do you think?
I wouldn't bet on it, Frank. I wouldn't bet on it. There's always a possibility. Here's the thing. People think we hate on LeBron. We don't. We respect him. And out of respect, you got to always know like that chance exists because LeBron is on the floor. That's the respect you give to any great player in any sport. Your greatness gives you that benefit of the doubt, that possibility of anything happening because you're on the floor. So we do know that exists with the Lakers. Do I think that they will find it and overcome all of these hurdles and somehow will their way to a conference final or a championship? Absolutely not.
Okay, that's just answer. Fig, what's your answer?
Rocky Laws. I mean, Rocky was a great movie, but he really lost. So I don't care. James Harden, Anthony Davis, if the Lakers come back to play in, what? They're gonna lose.
Okay.
They're gonna lose. Father Time is undefeated. He was injured. Anthony Davis was injured. He got injured again playing the Knicks. These guys will not be able to withstand this gauntlet through the West, match up with the best team in the East, and do it again. It was an anomaly. See you next year, Lakers.
Rodney Perry, your thoughts?
So if the Lakers aren't going to make it, then the Nets aren't going to make it. So we should be talking about who's going to make it then. Because if you're counting the Lakers out, you have to count the Nets out. All right?
I don't understand.
If I had to put money on it, Rodney.
I don't understand how you came up with that. I don't get one has nothing to do with the other. I don't get it, Rodney. You got to explain that a little bit more. How if the Lakers don't make it, the Nets don't make it? How's that?
We talk about injuries, right?
No, I'm not talking about injury. I'm not saying anything. I haven't responded. But
what the fuck?
I asked the question. He talked about injury. He said injury.
I'm responding to him.
Oh, okay. So you're saying injuries. Okay. But
I'm saying if Figment Freud counts out the Lakers, you must count out the Nets with the same logic.
Okay.
James Harden came back. We ain't seen LeBron James in a couple months. LeBron James has not been on the floor yet. We just saw James Harden damn near have a triple-double last night. When the last time we seen LeBron? LeBron ain't played in weeks.
Where's his guys, Fig? He's not. He can't beat nobody by himself. He proved that.
Well, let me just say this. LeBron is coming back the game in the next game. He's returning the next game. But let me ask you all this next question. And this is going to be. I hope we have enough time. But no, we don't. We don't have enough time. But we're going to have to get 60 seconds in real fast. Challenge. The Knicks finally made the playoffs. They made the playoffs. Should we expect the Knicks to pass the first round? Or are they going to get to the second round with the first playoff round? And they're going to surprise people? Are they going to be the Miami Heat of this year? What you think? So that's going to be his answer.
Don't play with me, yo. Don't play with me. Nobody, and I mean nobody in this league, want to see the New York Knicks in a 7-game series. Mm-hmm. So absolutely they're getting past the first round. I think the Knicks are going to the conference finals. Now, once they get there, it's up in the air.
Rodney, Fig, you got 60 seconds.
That ain't my fault. I'm a little more neutral than Talent. To me, it depends on who the Knicks get to play in the first round. They get to play somebody like Atlanta, possibly, or North Carolina down there, Charlotte. I think the Knicks will get past the first round. If they start meeting up with teams like Giannis in Milwaukee, the Bucks, the 76ers, or the Nets, Knicks ain't going to get past the first round because I don't think we can beat any of those dudes, mainly because we don't have a center, and all those dudes have dominant big men.
Rodney Perry, your thoughts?
I don't think the Knicks could win a 7-game series of dominoes.
Okay, so You on the record? That's it.
And I almost was going to compliment his hat today.
You know what? Me too. But since you talk about my Knicks, damn your hat. I hope you put it on the chair and sit down on it by mistake.
I hope you lose that hat in the game of dominoes, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. That's the show. You sitting at home watching the show. That's the show. Talent, tell everybody out there how they can follow you, bro.
Hey, it's your boy Talent. It's just comedy on Twitter, Talent the Comedian on IG, King Talent on Facebook. Just that simple.
Big.
It's your boy FIG, all social media platforms at Comedian Fig on the box seats, Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. This is the best damn sports show on TV, regardless of what Rodney Perry says.
Rodney Perry, how do you tell everybody to follow you?
Hey, my cash app is Rodney Perry. I'm taking donations. For Talent to get back in his house because he is currently homeless.
Too bad he went out before I got to just let him hear that part. Oh, hey, everybody, we want to thank you all for watching the show. We want to thank George Foster, obviously, for coming in and being a guest for the show today. Very insightful, very insightful. We want to thank you all. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. We got another guest, possibly another guest. The show's called Box Seats. Tune in at 1 o'clock. Of course, the channel is Humor Mill. I want to thank George. I want to thank Talent. I want to thank Fig. I want to thank Rodney. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all know the channel. Y'all know the show. Take care. Talk to you.